last few of them. Morning. First things first, remember this. Holidays for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Christmas is going to be on the 23rd. That's a Friday, and on Monday, the 26th. Thanksgiving? Third? Thursday. Only. Right? Thursday, Friday. I neglected to write that one down. Thursday, Friday. We'll get the word out today. Friday, Monday, Christmas. We'll get to you on Thanksgiving. Friday, New Year's, the 30th. So we'll shoot something out today official. But remember the holidays, remember the days. Don't come into work if we don't want you here. I put on the check-in sheet, sign-in sheet about checking rigging. Make sure we're checking our rigging, fellas. I know a lot of times we're using something that is greatly oversized for what we're doing, and we don't have a lot of concern there. But as an organization, what we say we're going to do is use rigging that has good test dates. If we say we're going to do that, we should be doing that. So it doesn't take too long to look at your rigging, to look at your safety latch on your cherry picker, on your crane, to check things out before we get started working. That's a reoccurring theme for the rest of our lives over here, fellas. Give everything you're fixing to do a once over and make sure it's okay. We had a crane accident in Houston that was a near miss, but it was a somewhat serious near miss. And we did kind of a major bit of work on a crane there, and the crane was not supposed to be run. Somebody wound up cranking up the crane and running it. And I don't know how we would have prevented that. Anybody got some help? How are we going to stop somebody from operating a piece of equipment that we don't want them to operate?
Pull the battery out.
Lock it out. Lock it out. So we do a lot of tagging over here, and I think we're good with it. But if the situation warrants putting a lock on it, we wound up training quite a few guys in the lockout tagout standard. Tony's got some locks, the mechanic shop's got some locks. I think Mark's got a lock kit over here. If we need to get more, we'll get some more. But if it needs to be locked out, that's the definitive way to keep somebody from running it. And it was again a situation with the same crane that we changed the heel section on, I guess about a month and a half ago, and ran into a problem during that transition. So make sure that we keep others from operating a piece of equipment that could jeopardize someone. We kind of got into a situation this time where apparently some people were told not to run it, or allegedly were told not to run it, and they either forgot or decided to run it anyway, and we could have actually seriously injured or killed some people in this incident. So check out what we're doing. If it needs to be taken out of the loop, take it out of the loop. If it needs to be taken out of service, take it out of service. A tag will suffice if it's not an immediate danger to someone, but if it is, it needs to be locked. So get with somebody and let's make sure that we put a lock on it. Everybody got that one? Cold weather. A couple of things come to see us during the cold weather. We're going to start breaking out heaters, I'm sure, pretty soon. And make sure with the heaters that it's operating properly, that you've moved anything that's flammable away from it. And we try and follow that 35-foot standard. It gets kind of tough in a shop. Use your common sense. If you don't really know, get with somebody else that'll help you out. But let's make sure anything that's capable of burning is away from the heaters. If you do have a problem with the heater, I believe Patrick's ready to help you out if we have a malfunctioning heater. And let's make sure that they're working properly. Second thing that we see across the winter time is loose clothing, fellas, and A lot of hoodies, hats, and other things that are going to be worn that can get caught up in some rotating or moving machinery. And make sure you're mindful of that. It depends on what process you're in. Whatever you're doing will determine how mindful you need to be of it. But we got a lot of strings hanging, we got a lot of jackets on, and it puts you in a little bit different mode, especially when you're working in close proximity to something that's moving. So remind your buddy and make sure that we don't get into any big problems with our clothing. I think it's going to warm back up by Sunday, so I think we're going to be in and out of this, and we'll have a little cold front come down, and then we'll get back into some warmer weather. But I believe the heat is gone. We actually picked up the 2 evaporative fans yesterday and are winterizing them for winter storage until it gets hot next summer. So, what y'all got? A lot of work across the levee. I think just about everybody's been here long enough to understand that the BV 10,000 season is over and all the transportation barges come back here. We take mat off, we take plate off, whatever we've outfitted them with to get us through the season has to come off. And in conjunction with what we've put on, they come back with a lot of mud on them. So we've got United States Environmental Services out here, kind of in a haz-whopper mode, doing the mud cleanup for us, and then we're always slinging a lot of plate, a lot of mat. So, there's a lot of times, don't ever get a false sense of security on the other side of the levee. At times there's nothing going on, and then the next day, man, it can just be crazy. So make sure when you go across the levee, you kind of scan both ways and see what's going on before you just fly into the action on a golf cart. Who else?
Brad, I say going down the road and have my hand on like this, just driving, And believe it or not, a bug come dead to hit me dead square in the eye. I mean, if I wouldn't have my glasses on, it would have put my eye. And I wasn't going fast. But just to go to show you how accidents happen, with your eye. And that juice, when he hit me, the juice just rolled down my cheek. So you can imagine, you just hit
Oh,
side.
yeah.
And it just freaked me out, I was in a truck. I was on a motorbike. I was
Yeah, anybody that rides a motorcycle understands that. What Brad was saying is he was in a truck, he had the window down, he had a pair of glasses on, and a bug hit so hard that it splattered on his glasses. Had he not had a pair of glasses on, and anybody who's ever been up there with us and we're trying to get something out of your eye, man, you don't really have to touch your eye very hard for it to hurt. And so we talk about leaving here and trying to apply what you hear over here. And you can carry a lot of the things that are good, safe practices over here, which, by the way, fellas, I don't make up the rules. We have this thing called the safety management system. I'm not coming in here. Don't be mad at me. The rules were actually put into place by John Greaves, John Ketchatorian, Jason Fobb. Y'all have heard of those guys. That's where our safety management system came from. I'm not out here arbitrarily just making up stuff to make your life miserable. We're trying to keep you guys safe. And in saying we're trying to keep you safe, all I can ever do is come up here every Friday, and when I see you guys on the yard, and talk about safety, talk about what's the right thing to do. It's actually up to you. At the end of the day, we've got a part in it, but we've got very little to do with what you're going to go out there today and do when we're not watching you or somebody else isn't watching you. So it's on you. And I have to say, man, we got it. We got it. I was talking with Houston yesterday, and boy, if we can breeze through the end of the year like we're doing right now, and of course we know we had a little knee injury. We've had a couple of injuries, but by and large, considering the amount of hours and the amount of work, hell of a job, fellas. Hell of a job. If we could take a time-lapse photography overhead looking at this yard and what goes on any given day, unbelievable. So good job, keep up the good work. I want to throw a few more numbers out there on you guys. I guess, I don't know for how many months now, what we do is we, as we go through the JSAs, yes, I look at the JSAs. I look at you guys' JSAs. Looked at 7,277 so far this year. That's overall JSAs. But what we started doing, because I felt like we were kind of being counterproductive with scanning every JSA, we started kind of grading them. What's an adequate JSA and what's an inadequate JSA? Understanding full and well that you guys have different things that could be put before you on any given day, we started looking at some days I'll see a real good one from somebody, and then some days it's not so good. And I don't think that's on the guy, because I think he can write a real good one. So we kind of grade them on a curve. But just for you guys to know, 87.7% overall of the JSAs that we look at, 87.7 are up to par. And that's good, fellas. I don't know if a year ago we could have said that. So I think there's been some trying to improve how I do things there. And again, that's just another reason for me to say thank you. That's a big part of our process, and that's a big part of what the customer judges us by. Are we planning our work? And most people that we would be working for don't want to hear me nor you say, no, we don't plan our work. That's what the JSA does for us. So keep up the good work with the JSAs, fellas.
Did you order the filter thing, do CPR or anything like that?
CPR mask?
Yeah.
We got a company that, Robert, the thing about it, man, you either getting a cheap one, which is disposable, which we're looking at that would go into the kits, or they're a little bit too expensive for us. So we probably gonna wind up with them in the kits, and Z is gonna furnish them. And they'll just be like 2 in each kit. Probably never use them, but that's how it's gonna go down. Anybody else? Getting tough to hear. Y'all have a good day.